Just when you think you've seen it all, along comes a Trump development to trump 'em all, or most of them. On Thursday night, The Washington Post reported that a complaint from an anonymous intelligence whistleblower, which has been the subject of a bitter oversight dispute between the Trump administration and Congress, centers on a phone call that Trump had on July 25 with Ukraine's recently elected President Volodymyr Zelensky. Many details about this story remain murky, but the implication seems to be that the whistleblower is alleging that Trump promised to release $250 million in stalled aid for Ukraine if Zelensky would launch a corruption investigation into matters involving Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. You might think that sounds too outrageous to be plausible. A president who spent just under 2 years being investigated for possibly colluding with Russian efforts to interfere in the 2016 election, putting the squeeze on another foreign country to interfere in the 2020 race. But hang on a minute. Shortly after the Post story dropped, Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who has for months been claiming, without any real evidence, that Joe Biden bribed Ukrainian officials to drop a corruption investigation involving his son, went on Chris Cuomo's CNN show and said, "It is perfectly appropriate for a president to say to a leader of a foreign country, investigate this bribe that was paid by a former vice president that our media in America is covering up." For the past few days, reporters have been trying to get more details about the whistleblower's complaint. Joseph Maguire, the acting director of national intelligence, has ordered the Inspector General of the intelligence community not to pass it along to Congress, a decision that he says was based on legal advice from the Justice Department. The administration's refusal to cooperate has caused a mighty row with the House Intelligence Committee, headed by Adam Schiff, Democrat of California. Of course, the Trump administration and the Democrats on Capitol Hill are involved in many disputes arising from congressional investigations into Trump and his associates. But until now, none of them have involved the suggestion that Trump may have exerted pressure on a foreign leader to take actions to help his 2020 re-election bid, and may have even pledged something in return. Even before this latest revelation, however, Trump's conversation with Zelensky, a former comedian and screenwriter who was elected president of Ukraine in April, had attracted the attention of congressional Democrats, who were investigating what Trump and Giuliani were up to on the Kiev front. In August, reports emerged that Trump was threatening to withhold $250 million in U.S. aid to Ukraine, which was supposed to be used to deter Russian aggression in the east of the country. On September 9, the leaders of 3 Democrat-controlled House committees demanded the transcript and a list of participants on the July 25 call. The Democrats said that Giuliani and Trump appear to have acted outside legitimate law enforcement and diplomatic channels. The Democrats also referred to a Ukrainian government readout from the July 25 call, which said that Trump told Zelensky he was convinced the new Ukrainian government would be able to quickly improve the image of Ukraine, and complete the investigation of corruption cases, which inhibited the interaction between Ukraine and the USA. At that stage, there was no suggestion of a link to a whistleblower. But on Wednesday night, The Washington Post reported that the whistleblower's complaint involves President Trump's communications with a foreign leader, according to 2 former U.S. officials familiar with the matter. The report went on, Trump's interaction with the foreign leader included a promise that was regarded as so troubling that it prompted an official in the U.S. intelligence community to file a formal whistleblower complaint with the Inspector General for the intelligence community, said the former officials. This Post story led to a lot of speculation about the identity of the foreign leader. The whistleblower filed the complaint on August 12. During the previous few weeks, Trump had spoken with a number of foreign leaders in addition to Zelensky. They included Russia's Vladimir Putin, Pakistan's Imran Khan, Holland's Mark Rutte, and the Emir of Kuwait. The fact that Putin's name was on the list produced a lot of excitement online, but no new details. On Wednesday morning, Trump weighed in, writing on Twitter, "Another fake news story out there, it never ends. Virtually any time I speak on the phone to a foreign leader, I understand that there may be many people listening from various U.S. agencies, not to mention those from the other country itself. No problem." In a second tweet, he went on, writing, "Knowing all of this, is anybody dumb enough to believe that I would say something inappropriate with a foreign leader while on such a potentially heavily populated call? I would only do what is right anyway, and only do good for the USA." The tweets didn't solve the mystery of who the foreign leader was. But at about 8 p.m. on Thursday evening, the Post appeared to clarify the matter, posting its story under the headline, "Whistleblower complaint about Trump involves Ukraine," according to two people familiar with the matter. The report didn't say explicitly that the complaint concerned a call between Trump and Zelensky, but it did note that the call took place just 2.5 weeks before the whistleblower made the filing. As the rest of the media was trying to digest this news, Giuliani appeared on CNN and almost immediately went off a cliff. In addition to claiming that it would be fine for Trump to pressure Zelensky and his government to investigate Biden, he admitted that he'd already done so himself, and also managed to contradict his story in the process. The first time that Cuomo questioned Giuliani about whether he had asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, he replied, "No, actually, I didn't." But then he went on to say he had inquired how a certain Ukrainian official had ended the corruption investigation that allegedly involved Hunter Biden. "So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?" Cuomo asked. "Of course I did," Giuliani replied. Although he defended Trump's right to pressure the Ukrainian president to investigate Biden, Giuliani also insisted that he didn't know anything about the conversation between Trump and Zelensky. Crazy as all of this undoubtedly was, the former New York mayor's appearance was something of a sideshow. The crux of the matter is his client, and whether he attempted, effectively, to extort Zelensky into trying to find dirt on Biden. As they say in the news business, this story is still developing. The next step, surely, is for Congress to get access to the whistleblower's complaint. Only then will we find out what it amounts to. Let's block ads. Why?